Hey guys, in this week's episode, we are talking about our most anticipated movies that are left for the rest of 2023. So join us.
All right, so real quick, before you join us for anything, I think I should let you know that after we recorded this, some things got delayed because of the writer's strike. We addressed this possibility in the episode itself, but I wanted to tell you guys up front that some of this stuff has since been shifted around release date-wise. Okay, enjoy.
Hello and welcome to the Casual Cinecast, powered by Cinelinx. My name is Chris, and with me as always is Mike. How are you doing today, sir? And I have a question for you. Have you ever felt really left out, like a big movie came out and you didn't get a chance to see it for whatever reason, and you just felt like you're on the outside looking in? And if so, what movie was it?
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And I would say, oof. Man, I wish you'd have given me a little bit more leeway so I could have thought about it for just a minute. I'm trying to think. I had a bad attitude about it at the time. I wouldn't say I missed it, but in retrospect, looking back as a grown adult at my 5th grade self, I would say, what a fool. And I would say that is Titanic. It would have been cool to see Titanic with a big crowd in the 90s, you know?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. But I was like a little 5th grade boy, and I thought it was going to be lame. So, I saw Lost in Space 3 times.
Well, you proved your masculinity with that.
Yep.
Also with us is Justin. How you doing? And the same question for you, man.
I'm doing well also, thank you. And I think I'm going to go a little in the more recent past than Mike. I guess it was when I was in grad school and film school, I kind of stopped watching movies or going to the movies just because I was doing so much movie stuff. And I missed Rogue One coming out. And didn't see it in theaters. And didn't see it for years, I think, after. And
yeah, lame.
Yeah. And so I didn't watch it for a long time, and turns out it's really great.
Yeah, Rogue One rules.
But I liked Star Wars, and I'd seen all of the sequel trilogy stuff around it. But
only
that one,
Force Awakens existed at that point.
That's true. Well, but I think
that was before Solo.
I guess I had watched Last Jedi and I think Solo before I ever got around to Rogue One. So there was a long time where everyone had seen it and talked about how great it was, and I just had no idea. So
right,
that's my answer.
Yeah.
Chris, what's your answer?
I am currently in this conundrum. It's Oppenheimer. I'm just about to cry, guys. Yeah, I went and saw Barbie. I took a family member to go see it, and then for whatever reason, I just have not had the opportunity to make it to the theater, and I am literally, there's a GIF, I don't know if you guys have seen it, of Russell Crowe from Les Miserables, where he's there's rain coming down on the window, and he just looks very lonely as he's staring out the window, and that is the epitome of me right now.
Well, as soon as you can carve out 3 hours and not doing this, you should do it.
Tomorrow...
You can listen to the first half of last week's episode if you want, of me and Mike talking about Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a blast. Anyway,
sure it is. I can't
wait. If this is your first time listening, normally we like to start off every episode in a section called News on the March, but not this week. This week, we are discussing the most anticipated films of 2023. I know what you're thinking. You guys already did this episode months ago. Well, now that summer is coming to an end and there's still so much left of the year, we wanted to kind of do a mid-year catch-up of where we all are. So That's what this episode is.
That's
absolutely.
Right.
And when we're not looking forward, oftentimes what we do here on the Casual Cinecast is we look back to movies that are in the Casualty Criterion...
not casually, just the regular
Criterion Collection, yes. And we put them in episodes called the Casualty Criterion episodes. And what we do and how we do that is we each pick a movie, usually based on some sort of theme, and then we put it out on X/Twitter. and and we let you guys decide for us, like what movie we're going to do. So you can go check out our movie on La Dolce Vita, which we have recently done, and look forward to Mishima: A Life in 4 Chapters, which will be coming out, in the next couple weeks or so.
That's right. As Chris said, we put the poll out on our X and or Twitter account. So follow us there at Casual Cinecast. You can also send us messages there asking questions about the movie reviewing. If you want us to answer a question about it, you can also email us at casualcinemedia@gmail.com. Then, of course, if you haven't done so already, give us a 5-star rating, give us a review, a like, whatever, on wherever you're listening to this on. We would appreciate it.
Please and thank you. And since we're not doing a news on the March, we are going to get into the main event now, if everyone's ready.
I'm ready.
I was born ready.
Also, X is a dumb name.
And I think we covered that
true.
on last week's episode, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't heard it yet.
You really...
Well, you will once you watch Oppenheimer. Then you can listen. All right,
Okay,
anyways. All right, here we go.
Think how good it's going to taste when it finally gets there. It's slow good.
It's keeping me waiting.
All right, so here we are in the main event. And so we are going to list our top 5 most anticipated movies that we have left in the year of 2023, except they are not ranked at all.
Yeah.
We are not putting them in any kind of order. They are just 5 movies that we were searching for on the internet and found and thought looked good above the rest of them. So
5 each for the record, so...
yeah, 5
With
each, so 15 total. We're going to...
Yeah.
they're going to come at you rapid fire. So the thing is, we did one of these episodes at the beginning of the year. So basically, we already listed 5 movies that we wanted to see in 2023, but a lot of those movies have come out and a lot of them haven't. So let's do a quick recap and breakdown of what has not come out yet.
Okay.
Justin.
Yeah. So I'll just go one by one, and then I guess I'll give you an opportunity after we do yours to say anything, or we can make fun of you for having a dumb list.
Okay.
So we'll start with
In retrospect, yeah.
Chris. You're up first. So here's your list. Again, also in no particular order: Knock at the Cabin, Meg 2, Napoleon, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and then you cheated and you stuck 2 and 1. You did Landscape with Invisible Hand / Beau is Afraid.
I like cheating. Landscape with Invisible Hand is either coming out as we record this like this weekend, but it's going to be a very small release. But I am still excited about it. But I think my list is pretty good, to be honest. I haven't seen Meg 2 yet, but and
Doing
Knock at the
very
Cabin
well
was-
internationally.
Yeah. Knock at the Cabin. I know Mike saw it. Did you ever see it, Justin?
No, but it's on my list to watch very soon.
Not
That
great.
feels like last year. My goodness.
Yeah, and it also, like, the further away I get from it, the less I like it. Just has so much potential and kind of squandered it. But yeah, I'm certainly happy with mine.
Yeah, not bad. I think all the ones I've seen on there, I liked quite a bit, which are Beau is
The
Afraid
only
and
one
Spider-Man.
that gives me pause is Meg 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my expectation is that it's not going to be great. But
That's
it
my
will
expectation
be fun.
based off the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's directed by, what's his name?
Ben Wheatley?
Clint
Yeah,
Eastwood.
Ben Wheatley. Clint Eastwood directed Meg 2.
God, that would be
amazing.
That'd be something.
Yeah. No, Ben Wheatley, who did all these weird things, and it's just like a weird matchup.
Yeah, but
and I
Ben
kind of
Wheatley
like
doesn't
those.
always knock it out of the park directing-wise
No.
in IMO. You know what I mean? In my
Yeah.
opinion.
He
Okay.
always does weird things. Anyways,
All right,
go ahead.
anyway,
Yeah,
moving
next
on.
one.
Yeah, next one. Mike, you're up next, and I promise I'm not leaving myself last. That's just the order that they're in.
Yeah, you're like,
Sure,
best for
sure.
last, of course.
Yeah. Actually, my list is probably the worst. Anyways, Mike, yours is Dune Part 2, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, and Killers of the Flower Moon. So you had the blockbusters.
Yeah,
Kind of.
I mean, I didn't think Oppenheimer was going to be a blockbuster per se.
Yeah, but you were wrong.
Yeah, I mean, apparently I am wrong, but that was, I thought, foolishly, in retrospect, going to be like a really quiet biopic grossing maybe 150 million. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't
Maybe making its
Yeah.
money back.
Yeah, maybe, possibly, hopefully. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with my list. You're right. There were a lot of blockbusters between, you know, like Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones. I assume Dune will do large numbers, but
Yeah.
that has yet to be seen. But of all the ones that have come out, I've liked them. They haven't
Yeah.
always been successful money
I like the
making
ones I've
wise,
seen.
but
Yeah, your list is probably the best out of the three, I think. But we haven't covered Justin's yet, so.
yeah. So hopefully by the end of the year, the low point, both critically and financially, will be like, of my list will be like Indiana Jones. And that would be good because I actually ended up really liking Indiana Jones. And
Yeah.
Me too.
apparently no one saw it. So, which is kind of a bummer, but I get it.
Yeah.
I guess they just weren't dialed into it.
Yeah, I guess not. But also, Mission Impossible kind of didn't make as much money as I thought it should. But I think that has more to do with the budget being inflated due to COVID.
Yeah. Also coming out the week before Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah, that was
rough.
that was not a good idea.
Yeah. Just hard to have the same hype as Barbenheimer.
I feel like Barbenheimer took the wind out of everything else's sales this summer.
Yeah.
I literally
Anyway,
keep forgetting that things like Indiana Jones came out because of that.
Right, yeah. Agreed. Anyway, Justin, let's hear yours.
All right. Mine is Peter Pan and Wendy.
Ouch.
Next Goal Wins. Shazam 2.
Ouch.
How Do I Live, which that was the Miyazaki movie that has a different title now. And then I finished strong, though, with Barbie.
That's
Yeah.
true. Biggest movie of the year. So, let me ask you, have you seen every movie that has been released so far on this list?
On everybody's or on mine personally?
On yours personally?
Have you seen Shazam 2?
Yes.
That's the question.
That's
Yes,
what
I
I'm
have.
getting at.
I have.
Okay.
I have.
Well, do any of them disappoint, or were you happy with any of them, or all of them, or what?
Tell us about Shazam 2.
Shazam 2 is quite disappointing. It is not good. And I don't know how much of that is like expectation, you know, just because I didn't expect the first one to be good, and then I ended up really liking it. Like,
Yeah, I
thought it
remember
was-
liking the first one.
yeah, that was way better than it had any right to. And then I
Sure.
kept my expectations low for this one, but it's still disappointed. It is. It has some problems, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Many of which, I guess, just stem from like the kind of disconnect between like the adult version of Shazam and the kid version of Shazam. They
Did you
each
have
feel like
that-
they've grown. They've either grown differently, or I guess in some cases they don't seem like they've grown between the movies. Just inconsistent.
They're very
growth.
different, is my understanding. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Okay.
like, the kid seems different than the Shazam character, right?
yeah. It's like the kid grew and got older and changed,
Yeah.
but anytime he's Shazam, he's exactly the same as he was before, and so it's
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
So, yeah, my question was going to be, did you feel that in the first one? And it sounds like this one did not handle that element as well as the first installment, right?
Yeah, I didn't feel that in the first one, at least not to like a detrimental point. This was pretty
Sure.
consistently annoying the whole way through.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
bummer.
Yeah, it's okay. But then I think it's funny that the actor Zachary Levi, he had that quote to come out about how Hollywood's like releasing garbage, and then it's like, from the star of Shazam 2? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
You're
the
right.
whole
They
Zachary
are.
Levi thing is
Yeah,
pretty-
apparently he did a few cringy things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's anti-vax, which is,
Oh.
whatever. But then
Yeah.
on top of that, he like the weekend it came out, it didn't do very well. Maybe it was the next weekend, and he went like on a Instagram live or something. He was like, "Guys, you got to go watch this movie." He's like, it was a
Ugh.
little rough, I think.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's just cringy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More
That
than-
sounds uncomfortable to witness.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Peter Pan and Wendy, we talked about it. It was a mixed bag for me, but I think all in all, I had a good time.
I think it's criminally unnoticed. It's one of the better, in my opinion, remakes of this whole like live action quote Disney remake era, you know?
yeah.
I feel like it tries some things, but I feel like if it had come out like maybe 4 years ago, the reception would
We
be a
didn't even
little
get
different. But I think we're all just so
A
jaded
theatrical
on
release, right?
the laziness of Disney as of late.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. It did. You're right, Chris. It did come straight to Disney Plus, and yeah, I'd say it's like unfairly dismissed because it's not as bad
Yeah,
as
if
the
that
others.
had been like a limited to like small, wider release, like 4 years ago, I think it would be different.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Well, hopefully, the thing about Peter Pan and Wendy that I want David Lowery to have gotten a lot of money out of that, so
One
that he
for
can make
him.
something cool.
That was
Yeah,
the
later.
one for them.
Yeah.
Now they should give him a blank check again.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So let's move on to new ones.
Yeah. All right. So
Let's
all
do
the
it.
movies left this year, plus some of the ones that may have been on our list previously. Here we go.
Do it in the same order?
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah, Chris, you want to start us off?
Sure. So my first movie that I'm going to pick is The Creator from Gareth Evans. That's his name? I always get there's like several
I
people
think
that have the same
Edwards.
similar name.
Rogue
It's
One
Eric-
guy, right?
Gareth
Edwards.
Edwards.
Evans
Rogue
is the
One guy.
raid guy.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, that's hard
I know.
to keep separate. Anyways, at least in my
How
head.
dare them?
But yes, so man, he has such a like kind of a weird track
Mhm.
record, and I had little to zero negative interest in this movie before the trailer. The trailer looks pretty fascinating, and I would say that this director is really good at like big, like scale, like showing things at scale and like kind of wowing you in that way.
Visually
dazzling
dazzling action movies, I think.
Yeah, Godzilla. He
Yep.
did Godzilla, right? And there's that
Mhm.
shot with everybody coming down.
Did you remember
anyway, so
how
there's a
badass
lot
that
of cool
trailer
stuff.
was? That initial trailer for Godzilla, like 2014.
Yeah, it was super exciting, and it's the same thing with the creator. There's a lot of exciting stuff. It could be not good, but I'm excited to see what it is. So
Yeah.
that is my number 5. Well, I guess not rated, but one of my favorite, or one of the movies I'm looking most forward
We're
to.
gonna
this year.
we're gonna number them just so we can keep track of where we are, but they're not
Okay.
numbered in order of anticipation or rank.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm with you though. Like, I guess the Godzilla is his movies that I like the least, but obviously we talked about Rogue One. I didn't plan that.
Yeah, but the thing about
Beginning.
Rogue One is there's I mean, it's pretty heavily implied that Tony Gilroy, the director of Michael Clayton, writer of many movies, and showrunner on Andor, kind of stepped in to, quote, save that movie. So he directed it technically, but we don't know how much of what is the final product he did or didn't do.
Is his, and how much is
Right. And
Gilroy's.
what we don't
Yeah,
know
it's kind of-
what is Gilroy's and what isn't. Because Gilroy, he's being a pro and he's not saying anything about, who did what.
Yeah.
Well, his name's still on it.
That's true.
So I could call it his, I
Yeah.
guess. But Monsters, what I was going to get to. Monsters, I think, is really
good.
cool.
Yeah.
But
And-
yeah, so I'm excited about whatever he does, really.
While Godzilla may not be very good, like just as a whole, it has. I would sit there and watch it. It's better than most like big blockbuster movies, or some big blockbuster movies that have recently been released. In its visuals alone,
Yeah.
and I would gladly watch that over a bland movie
Flash,
that doesn't have
yeah.
those visuals. So, The Flash. That was what I was getting at, but yeah, because the story may be the same. I may think both Godzilla and The Flash stories on the same level, but the visuals are so much better in Godzilla that I would definitely, I'd much rather go see
Sure.
Godzilla.
Fair. All right. If we're all done with that, Mike, you're up.
All right. So the first movie I'm going to talk about, which I'm calling number 5, although, again, not ranking on any particular order or anticipation. So the first movie I want to talk about is a movie that was on my most anticipated at the beginning of the year, and that is Dune Part 2. And since we recorded that episode, there has been a trailer or two released for Dune Part 2, and it looks like it's going to be good. So,
Yeah. I see nothing in that trailer that leads me to believe it won't be just as good, if not better, than the first, because it's going to round out the story.
Yeah. that's
Yeah.
pretty much where
And
I'm at.
continue a
It doesn't
good
look
thing.
like Denis Villeneuve forgot how to direct or anything like that based on the few shots that we've seen. So I think we're going to be okay. I doubt this
Yeah,
will be
you know-
Denis Villeneuve's first misstep in his entire career.
Nah.
Yeah. The thing about Dune 2 that I'm actually really excited about right now is I get to watch Dune 1 before it comes out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
Good
Dune
idea.
1 is
Dune
so
1
good.
is good.
I'm
I watched
excited
it
about
again
that.
a couple
Yeah.
months after it was initially released, and dude, that movie's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I think the only thing that would make this like not a really good 2023 film is if it actually ends up getting postponed, although I think that rumor's been squashed.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are in the
Yeah.
middle of an unprecedented time in Hollywood with 2 strikes going on at once and lots of unrest and lots of flops happening at the same time and unparalleled greed that's taken place in the entire
Sure.
since the beginning of this industry. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? They may need to stretch like some of these like movies that are in the can. They may need to stretch them out. But hope.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of the caveat to this whole thing is some of these may get pushed back. It's kind of like COVID time again.
Yeah.
Where we're like
Only
not
it's
sure on the
entirely
release dates,
avoidable, and it's all
Sure,
this
yes.
corporation's fault. So
but, agreed.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
Fair enough.
All right, but anyway, Dune Part 2 still looks good. I mean, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I'm excited about the new cast: Austin Butler, Florence Pugh.
I think Austin Butler still sounds like Elvis. in
We'll
here.
see.
I hope so.
Yeah, he looks crazy though, with all the white and the bald head and
Yeah.
everything. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah,
Florence Pugh's a good
Yeah, I
addition to
agree.
this, I
feels
think.
right. All right, okay, moving on.
Agreed.
Justin, what is your first movie?
My first one is one I just saw the trailer for pretty recently, and it's the new film from Alexander Payne. It's called The Holdovers with Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Have you guys
Yes,
seen the trailer
it
for
played
this?
before. I'm trying to remember what movie.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
too.
it played before
I
like
think
a
it played
really big
before
movie.
Indiana
Barbie.
Jones for me, maybe.
I think
It was either Barbie or Indiana Jones.
I think it was Barbie because I watched it and my girlfriend actually saw it with me, and I remember the theater just not getting it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was pretty quiet, which I mean, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't bode well. I kind of just hold out hope for Alexander Payne. I guess after like downsizing,
I never saw that.
he's had some like missteps. It's not very good
That's what I
in my
hear,
opinion. But of course, I love Sideways, Election.
Descendants.
It's really great. Descendants is really great.
Descendants, yeah.
So like, I know he's got it in him.
Did you ever see
And,
Nebraska?
yeah, Nebraska's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's another one. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's a return to form. That's what makes me excited to see it. But I like it. It's Paul Giamatti's like a teacher and at like a private school. Potentially, it's like Catholic or something. And all the kids go home for the holidays, but there's 1 or 2 or 3 kids that have to stay because they don't have a family to go home to. So he's got to spend the winter break
like
alone
being their custodian.
in the private school with them. Yeah. So it looks like it could be heartfelt and funny. And
Yeah.
that's usually my bread and
Yeah,
butter.
he can do that. Did you ever see Win Win?
No, but I always wanted to.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I think.
Yeah. It does have those vibes
Yeah.
from what I remember from that movie. But yeah, that's mine, The Holdovers.
Rock on. Yeah.
If there's nothing else.
Nothing. I just need to see Downsizing.
Yeah, do it because I'm curious what you think. But that's a conversation for another day. Chris, what's your next one?
Yeah, so this was on my list at the beginning of the year. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. Ridley Scott's Napoleon. Now, since I put this on the list at the beginning of the year, of course, a trailer's come out. It looks pretty
Are you
cool.
more or less excited since the trailer?
More excited. I still think the thing that's drawing me in is, it's Ridley Scott and Joaquin Phoenix. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. It's a long movie, too. It's like 2.5 hours, 158 minutes. How long is that? Anyways.
158. It's 2 hours and 38 minutes.
Yeah, so I think I'm a little bit more excited because of the trailer, because it seems like there's a little bit of tongue-in-cheek stuff going on in here, not just like battles and sequences, although those are in there as well. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it still, and like at this point, any movie, this is like a list of directors. I think Martin Scorsese is on there, and we'll talk about him later. But any movie we get from these guys, like this elder generation, is a gift.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the thing about Ridley Scott is, like, he's directed some stuff that doesn't work for me. But
Sure.
when he has a good script, like when he has a solid script, the dude puts out great movies, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he's still cranking them out. He did 2, The Last Duel and the
House of Gucci.
what was the like?
I never saw
House
House
of
of
Gucci,
Gucci,
like
but
in
The
the
Last
same
Duel
year.
was great.
Yeah,
And I think Prometheus
So-
and Alien Covenant were directed very well. I just don't think he had the script that he thought he had in some of those movies, right?
Yeah.
sure.
But he was putting his all into them, and they're beautiful science fiction movies, and I'm sad we'll never get to see the end of that trilogy. So, yeah, Ridley Scott, I'm with you there, that like anything he does.
Even if it's not good, it's still a gift. You know, like Steven Spielberg, you can
Sure.
put on that list. You know, like we only got so many more films. I guess it goes for everybody, like because at some point, you know, death comes
I'm
for
so
us all.
scared for Scorsese.
Yeah, Scorsese and Spielberg and all those guys. We don't have, you know, like maybe 1 or 2 more movies is what I think. But anyways,
That's
that is
depressing.
my what?
Thanks. That's depressing. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was going to
You're
say
welcome.
that.
Welcome to my head.
Yeah, I was going to say the Napoleon trailer looks great. Like I think the movie looks like awesome cinematography wise. So that's the one thing that.
Yeah.
Well, not the one thing, but that's the one thing we haven't mentioned
Yeah.
that gets me amped for this movie.
Sure.
I agree. And like Chris said, I think it'll be interesting to see Joaquin Phoenix and Ridley Scott collaborate. I mean, we saw that in Gladiator, but I feel like Joaquin Phoenix is in kind of like a different league than he was back then.
Sure.
That's
I
true.
think-
I didn't know who he was when I watched Gladiator.
Okay.
Yep.
So I guess that's
Yes.
my
All
turn,
right.
and I will go ahead and finish or start or whatever list for my second movie and get the last one that was on my beginning of the year list out of the way. And
Mhm.
that is Killers of the Flower Moon, which is
Yeah.
a Martin Scorsese film starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro, which are like the 2 great Scorsese protagonists, you know?
Sure.
And we have a whole trailer now instead of
We
just
have
the
2.
single one image that we had for. Oh,
There
yeah.
were 2
We have
trailers.
2
yeah.
trailers.
Yeah.
But one's a short trailer and then one's a long one.
Yeah. But we had just had like the one image forever.
Yeah,
And
of him at the table looking
We were-
confused.
Yeah. And we were all still very hyped.
Yeah, I mean, you just need the director's name to be hyped. But I mean, after 2 trailers and some first initial reactions from like a crowd who's seen it, I'm not deterred in any way. In fact, I think this will be great. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
If not a little sad and a little infuriating. And yeah, I think it looks great. And, you know, like Guillermo del Toro said, I would give up years of my life if it meant Scorsese could live longer.
Yeah, that's.
If I could give him 5
Chris,
years,
interesting.
5 of my years to get maybe 2 more Scorsese movies out there in the world that I could experience, that would be worth it. Anyway.
In theory, you have more to give though than
I mean, I
Guillermo.
don't want to give him more than 5. I'm willing to give him any at all, so he should be grateful with 5.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you should give more. I say you just have more than Guillermo to spare. So I'd rather you give him than Guillermo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give 5 years to Guillermo.
So he
then,
can
to,
give
like,
5.
make up for whatever
Yeah.
he's given.
All right.
Yeah.
Pay it forward.
I'm not giving mine to anybody.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fair enough.
Smart. You're a smart man.
All right. So, any other thoughts about Killers of the Flower Moon, you guys?
No, I'm just in
excited. I can't
total
wait to see
agreement with
this.
you.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
weird whenever there's a director in a movie that's so like unanimously beloved by everyone that all you can really say is like, yeah, obviously who could wait, you know?
You know, I think the thing that I'm the most excited about, like his last movie was, what was the movie where it aged him up and everything with Robert De Niro?
You're thinking of The Irishman.
Yeah, The Irishman, and which was released on Netflix. I am glad that this one is being released by Apple, and I imagine it's going to get a proper theatrical release and I'm not going to have to like in one weekend try to figure out how I'm going to get to the theater. Like I'll have more time to be like, okay, I can get to the theater and I can go see this. Did you guys both see Irishman in the theater?
I did.
Okay, yeah, me
Yeah.
too. So
Good for us.
Yeah.
good for us.
We're
Pat
real
ourselves on
film
the back.
people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, just kidding. But yeah. Anything else we want to say?
No.
All right,
I'm
cool.
good.
Moving on. Justin.
All right. I like your idea of knocking out the things that were on our list at the beginning of the year that haven't come out yet. So I'm going to go with another like filmmaker who's up there, but that's Hayao Miyazaki's last film because he is retired now.
Are we
but
sure?
He
it's-
was retired before this, wasn't he? Yeah.
Well,
It's like
I'm just-
Soderbergh.
I'm just telling you what I heard. So, but it's called The Boy and the Heron. When it was on my list at the beginning of the year, it was called How Do I Live? Because that's what people thought the title was, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But now it officially is called The Boy and the Heron. And there's been a few images released, and it looks trademark Ghibli style. And
This is a
it looks
crazy
really good.
release in Japan. There was no trailer for it at all. There's still no trailer as far as I can tell. So
Yeah,
it has been released, and there's a few images out there, but very little is known about this film.
Mhm.
And I've kind of done my best to kind of avoid anything. I haven't
Yeah,
even
it's-
seen any images.
kind of the mystery that's intriguing about it,
Yeah.
I suppose. But so not much is known, but from what I've read, that says that the protagonist is a young boy who finds an abandoned tower where he enters into a fantastical world with a talking heron, which that sounds like a lot of Miyazaki movies, in my opinion. So that doesn't really tell me anything.
Yeah.
Sure.
But-
I do think you're right. You put Miyazaki's name on just about anything. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down.
I mean, it's another
Yeah.
Scorsese situation.
yeah.
Yeah. So he might genuinely be done. This might be the last one. At least that's how it's being
Sure.
billed, basically.
Yeah.
Sure.
But we've heard that before,
So-
I feel. So,
Yeah.
But-
I'll
possibly.
but if
give
you're
him
gonna
5
say,
more years.
if you're gonna go through the trouble saying it twice, I mean,
Do you believe him? Are you going to believe him more the first time or second time?
less the second time. Yeah, more the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
do think, though, he is pretty up there in
That's
age.
true.
Like, I think to get especially an animation movie,
Does take
another
a long
animation
time,
movie
yeah.
out of him,
Yeah.
might be difficult. But yeah.
Okay. Well, pretty simple, straightforward there. So we'll go back to Chris.
All right, I've knocked out the ones that I've seen, or not that I've seen, but were on my list earlier this year, and I want to go ahead and highlight. I don't know much about this movie, but as I was looking for movies to be excited about for the rest of the year, there's this one movie that kind of stood out to me called His Three Daughters, and the thing that really stood out to me was the cast. It has Carrie Coon, who is in The Leftovers and will forever be in my heart because of that.
Never heard of that
Elizabeth
show.
Olsen. Yeah.
Yeah, you've never mentioned
I'm
it.
sure. Yeah, never mentioned it before. Elizabeth Olsen. I don't know if you guys have heard of her, and Natasha Lyonne. All play the titular three sisters. And it's about three sisters that come together like over their father's mental health as it declines. So it seems, and really, I don't know much more about it than that. I'm not
I mean,
familiar
you've
with the
sold me.
director, but yeah.
The director, Mike, do you remember that movie Terry that we watched when we were in film school together?
Yes.
With John C. Reilly and the high school kid who's kind of like a misfit.
Good
Um,
movie, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I remember enjoying it. It's like this sort of like charming little indie film. Same director.
Oh, okay. Good for him.
I'll have to check out Terry then. But I haven't seen any of his films. But those three actors, I think, are really going to. It intrigues me. It makes me want to watch it. I think it should be really good. Or if it's not good, those performances are going to be pretty amazing. Like,
Yeah, I feel like they're
so-
all three at the top of their game right now.
Sure.
Yeah. This was
Well,
not on my
I mean-
radar, so I'm excited that you've brought this up.
Yeah. I mean, The Leftovers has been over for a while, and that was when Carrie Coon was on her best.
Well, that doesn't
best
mean
of her
she's
game,
not at the top of her game. It just means that she's not as
No,
hot
I know.
career-wise as she was.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Whatever. She was in an Endgame.
He's just trying to mention The Leftovers again.
Or Infinity
Yes,
War.
one more
Chris,
time.
Chris gets paid by Damon Lindelof every time he mentions The Leftovers.
Yes.
So that's what he's doing.
Yeah, that's like 3 cents that I got, my residuals. Every time I mention it, I get like a penny. All right, so that covers that. We don't know much more about it, so there's not really a ton to talk about other than to say it's very intriguing. So, Mike, what is your
All
next
right,
one?
so my next one is going to be the third part of a trilogy that has been released so far, and that is Maxine. And it is part of the trilogy of X and Pearl, and this will be the third entry and final entry. And yeah, it's the Ty West and Mia Goth trilogy that I assume will be horror-based, but I don't know.
Who knows?
In my opinion,
X and Pearl are so different. X and Pearl are so different. You don't know.
Yeah. X was a movie that came out first, and it was kind of like a typical like indie slasher, kind of like really low budget 70s
Texas Chainsaw.
throwback. Yeah. And it was okay. I liked it quite a bit. You know, it wasn't anything to write home about, but I thought it was well directed and kind of fun. And then Pearl came out, and I really liked Pearl quite a bit. I thought Mia Goth was great. I enjoyed the different tone. I enjoyed how it was sort of like an American Gothic kind of horror movie. And so I'm excited now to go from a prequel that was Pearl to a sequel that is Maxine. And so I don't know really anything else about it other than I like the creative team. And I'm hoping that Maxine will make Pearl and X better the way that Pearl made X better on its own, you know? So I'm hoping there's something there that will tie into the trilogy so far and make each movie feel kind of enriched.
Yeah, I hope so. It's exciting.
What did you guys think of X and Pearl? Just real quick, Chris?
I liked them. I liked both of them quite a bit. I don't know that I'm quite as high on them as you are, but I like them. And I'm also looking... I think as a whole, those two movies are really good. And then I hope that the same thing that you were saying, that Maxine kind of rounds out this whole trilogy. It's really unique, the trilogy, I think.
It feels unlike any other kind of trilogy, but I mean, so far, it's hard to say when it hasn't been finished yet.
Sure. And, well, the fact that the first two came out so close together, and even the third one's coming out fairly close for a trilogy, for all of these to have come out so close, I think Mia Goth is a star because of these movies now. I think she's, like, without these movies, I don't think I would have recognized her for what she is, if that makes sense. Like, she's a great actor. So, yeah, I really like them. How about you, Justin?
Yeah, I think they're both really good. I think I might have liked X on its own a little bit more than everybody else here, but to me, it's like when Pearl came out, it was just like it did make X better, but it also kind of eclipsed it, as we talked about on our episode, which that's, I guess, neither a good thing or a bad thing, but like it I guess makes my expectations for Maxine pretty high.
I know, that's like the one worry, right?
Pearl,
is that Pearl was too good for its own good.
Yeah, it's too good for a second movie. Like, how can you live up, you know?
Like Dark Knight Rises
maybe
to the Dark
can't.
Knight.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But that doesn't mean that I'm anticipating it any less. Because I think it's going to be cool. I generally, Ty West I really like, too. House of the Devil's really good if you haven't seen that.
I've seen The Innkeepers, but I still have not seen House of the Devil.
House of the Devil has a small supporting role from Greta Gerwig before she was on the map.
I like it.
Ty West is good at like finding. He directed the guy that is in Pearl is going to be Superman. So he's good at
the projectionist guy.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's my third movie. Justin, what's yours?
Yeah, so I'll do the last one that was on my list before, so there's not as much to say about it, but it is the soccer-based movie. So if you know me at all, there's no surprise, but it's Next Goal Wins from Taika Waititi. basically about the guy that took over like the worst like international soccer teams, and I think he's like trying to get them to qualify for the World Cup or something like that for like their first time or something. I don't really know, honestly. I stopped asking questions when I heard Taika Waititi and soccer.
you had me at Taika Waititi soccer.
Yeah. Because I've turned around on Taika Waititi.
Yeah, I was about to say, anyone who
off on
knows
him.
you within the past, like, 2 years, maybe 3.
It's probably turned
Yeah,
around last
Thor-
two, because like Jojo Rabbit, I really liked.
Yeah,
And
that was kind of where the
Yeah.
turnaround was.
yeah, then I revisited Ragnarok and enjoyed it a lot more. And I liked Love and Thunder, I think, more than most people I know.
Yeah,
More than me.
More than Chris, for
and
sure.
I would say probably more than me, although I still liked it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's good to see
So-
you've turned around on it, and I don't have anything to add other than I'm ready to see some more Michael Fassbender. Where's he been?
Yeah, it's got him.
He's been racing F1 cars.
Well, that's lame. He should
And raising a
star in
family.
more movies for my entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this will kick
Give up your
back his
hobbies,
career, or kick his career
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
off. But yeah, there is a trailer for this movie, and I watched like the first like 15 seconds and was like, I don't want to know anymore. But based
Sure.
on 15 seconds, I'm sure it's going to be
Yeah,
good.
hopefully. I like
That's
it.
As
Yeah.
good as Shazam 2, at least.
Yeah. We don't talk about that anymore. We're over it. But yeah, do you guys have anything to add on that one?
No, I think you pretty much said it. It's still looks
Yeah.
good.
And we covered it at the beginning of the year, really. So, back to Chris.
Well, I want to continue this Michael Fassbender renaissance. My next film is The Killer, directed by David Fincher and starring Michael Fassbender. A serial killer movie that's directed by David Fincher. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
I mean,
I feel like I've seen that before,
yeah.
but
sounds like
Yeah.
familiar territory,
Well,
but
actually,
I mean, it's worked every time, so.
I actually don't think it's a serial killer movie. I'm sorry. It says, let me just read the synopsis. That's how much I know about the film. I'm just, it's called The Killer.
Yeah,
and
Michael
David
Fassbender,
Fincher's
David
directing it.
Fincher.
I'm
What else
in.
do you need to know?
Yeah, and Michael Fassbender. But after a fateful near miss, an assassin battles his employers and himself on an international manhunt he insists is impersonal. So that sounds like La Samurai,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
something along those lines.
Or John Wick, if you want to be less artsy.
Or John
Somewhere
Wick,
between
yes.
the
But
two,
I
maybe.
feel like La Samurai fits David Fincher.
I was thinking of George Clooney in The American.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember that director's name.
It's
Who directed Control about
Hmm.
Joy Division.
Oh, really?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I went to the American too, and I think it's probably going to be way closer to that than I would guess either La Samurai or John Wick.
Anton Corbijn.
Oh yeah, okay.
Coming back to me now.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Anyway, yeah, sounds rad.
Cool.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton's also
Sweet.
in this, so I'm excited.
What was the last Fincher movie? Anyone?
that's a good
Anyone?
question. Let's see. Yeah.
Was it not TV shows?
Well, I
feel
think
like
that
it was.
TV show may be the last thing he's done.
I'm trying to think of something after Gone Girl.
Was it Mank?
Mank.
That's right.
Yeah, and I didn't
Yeah.
love that movie as
Yeah.
much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
It felt
Me neither.
It was an interesting
felt like
film,
it was
but,
like-
yeah.
cut out for me, right? Like it felt like it was something made tailor for me because I love Citizen Kane and I love David Fincher, but for some reason I did not love that movie.
I liked it.
I
thought,
liked it, but
Oh,
yeah.
what is her name? She did a really great job.
Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she was really great.
I don't think I could point out anything bad about the movie. It's just kind of like the whole
Yeah, it
package
didn't come together in the way
wow
that
me as much as I'd
I
hoped.
wanted it to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
but that's a pretty small blip, if you can even call it a blip.
On David
on a pretty
Fincher's
good track
awesome
record.
career. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Mike, what's your next
Okay,
one?
so my next one is a film starring Emma Stone and Mark Ruffalo, amongst other people. It's actually Willem Dafoe. It's got a great cast. Anyway, it's directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. I still don't know if I'm saying that correctly.
I think you said it
Awesome.
right.
Yeah, anyway.
That's how I've always said it, but it doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyways, I really loved The Favorite back when it came out. And I'm sad to say this, that's the only film I've seen from this director. I still haven't seen Dogtooth or
Me neither.
or Killing of a Sacred Deer, although, Justin, I know you recommended that movie very highly.
Yeah, I thought it was great when I saw it the year it came out, but that was a
The
lot
Lobster.
Yeah,
back.
The
really
Lobster
good.
is another one I haven't seen, but I love that he loves Colin
Lobster's
Farrell
good.
as well.
I think you would love the
You guys have
Lobster.
that in common?
Yeah. We do. Kindred spirits, he and I. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, it looks great. And Chris, I agree with you. I probably would like The Lobster.
I think you'll like Killing of a Sacred Deer more.
There we go.
I haven't seen that one yet, so
Time to start covering some blind
yeah,
spots.
I need to do a catch up. Are any of those in the Criterion Collection? I feel like they might be.
If any of them
You
is,
guys
it's
know off the top of your
Dogtooth.
head?
I was going to say if any of
Oh,
them
I
was
don't.
The Lobster.
Those Lobster and Killing of a Sacred Deer definitely are not. But maybe.
There's an interesting guy. Have you guys ever seen Hulu put out a TV show called Rami about a Muslim American, like modern, trying to deal with both his religion and his. Anyways, the TV show is really good, but Rami Youssef is the main character. He's also in this, and I really like him. But I haven't really seen him do anything other than that TV show. So that'll be interesting to see how he does in this.
Well, cool. I'm so excited for this. I've just been a big fan of this guy. He's always just doing weird things with insanely wide lenses.
Yeah, sometimes fisheye
Like fisheye
that feel
lenses.
weird.
Yeah. Yeah, just completely uncinematic and giving people crazy amounts of headroom that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, if it has even
So
like
I'm
one
in.
half of what I found to be fascinating about The Favorite, then I'm going to be happy.
yeah, totally.
All right. So that is Poor Things. So, Justin, what is your fourth movie?
All right, my fourth one is one that comes out very, very soon. I actually had to kind of double check. I think it comes out August 25th, and we were recording this on August 16th, so 9 days from now. But this is a comedy film. I mean, I don't know much about writer or director. I just saw the trailer recently when I went to the Alamo Draft House, but the film is called Bottoms.
Okay.
And it seems like it's like a high school coming of age, like vulgar sort of movie, and it has like some of the like sort of like bratty energy of like A24 bodies type thing, and that could be because it has the girl in it, one of the main girls from Bodies.
Rachel Sennott, right?
Rachel Sonnet.
Yeah, and it looks fun. They seem to be like high school girls that are kind of, I think the bottom is referring to, they are kind of the bottom of the pool, bottom of the social hierarchy in their high school.
Social ladder.
Yeah, and it looks like they might start a fight club or something between the high school girls at one point in the trailer. But the trailer made me laugh. It seemed odd, and it kind of, I guess it reminded me of like the way that I felt at first about seeing Booksmart, which is a movie I was pretty disappointed in, although I know everyone likes it. So I'm kind of hoping that it takes that sort of like mantle that I had reserved for Booksmart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Booksmart was a movie I wanted to love more than I did.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are both crazy. It was good. But yes, it's probably not as good
You're
as
right.
it
It
could
was
have
super bad,
been.
just reskinned and regurgitated.
Sure, but well, that's a whole nother thing. What I will say is, so the director, neither one of you guys have seen Shiva Baby?
I have.
No.
You have? Okay, so it's the same director of Shiva Baby. which Shiva Baby has its own like uncut gems quality to it of like stress and suspense. I really think you should watch it, Justin. I mean, well, of course, Mike and I have both seen it, but I do recommend it for you. It also has Rachel Sennott or Sonnott.
That's how I say
I don't know how to pronounce it. In it, and that's kind of like her breakout role. So this is kind of the opposite of like a Martin Scorsese or like a Miyazaki. Like this is the very beginning, and it's also a gift for us to see them. Cinema is a gift, but to see them like starting off, like what's going to happen next? What do they do next? Like what are their choices going to be? So in that same way, like I feel like that's how we've grown or seen Ari Aster grow. So like in the same way, like I can't wait to see what happens next with this director and Rachel Sennott. So yeah, and it feels like it should be on more people's radar. Again, it's kind of like indie, but it feels like it should be this year's Booksmart, but I don't see many people talking about it yet.
Yeah,
so.
Maybe the first reactions have to come out, because I feel like that's what happened with Booksmart. I may be wrong, but I feel like it premiered somewhere and then word of mouth caught on.
Yeah.
So
we shall see. I know it's had some screenings. Like there was one opportunity to see it at the Alamo Drafthouse like last week, but I couldn't make it, but it hasn't officially been released yet. That I know of. So,
yeah.
All right, cool.
But yeah, okay. That's it for me. So, back to Chris for to start our last ones.
Yeah, last round.
Oh yeah. Woo. All right. So my last pick is Michael Mann is also he fits more into the category of the Scorseses and the Miyazakis. Who knows how many more films we'll get from him, but he is directing a new one this year called Ferrari. You know what? I'm not really a car guy, and I really could care less about Ferrari or who he was. But I can tell you what I do care about is Adam Driver and Michael Mann making a cool as hell film, about Ferrari. And maybe I will care more after I've seen the film. I know Michael Mann, makes cool as hell films, like where it's just like a man, like robbing something and he stands by his code or whatever. Yeah, and being moody about it. Yeah. So I like that kind of aesthetic, and I am interested to see what happens here. And I think Adam Driver is really great. Like he, even in a movie like 60, that isn't very good, he is giving it his all, And so in a good movie, when he's giving it his all, I think
even better.
It's also a gift. Yeah. So that is my last pick, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, a movie about anything, even something you don't like, I think can turn out being good. Because not to like directly compare these two movies, because I don't think they'll be the same at all. But like, I was surprised by how much I enjoyed Ford versus Ferrari.
Me too.
A few years ago.
James Mangold.
Mm-hmm. Did not.
That's why I still haven't seen it, because it's Ford versus Ferrari. I'm like,
but it's good. It's like a classic American
I'm sure it is,
drama.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, despite having zero interest in Fords or Ferraris.
Yep. My girlfriend showed me that movie, and I was like, I'm only going into this thinking I'm going to like it because of the cast and the director.
Wait, had she seen it? And
yeah,
she wanted
right.
You to watch it?
She saw it, and she was like, I think you'll actually like it. And I was like, all right, we'll see. But yeah, no, I mean, I've never seen a James Mangold movie, in my opinion, that has been bad. Like, there's some I like more than others, but I think James Mangold is a very capable director with, like, really smart sensibilities.
Sure. But, and I think the same goes for Michael Mann, except for, I think even in his bad movies, there's like this cool...
Michael Mann's an interesting case, because I loved Heat when I first got into movies. Like, that was one of the first not Blu-rays, DVDs that I bought, that I hadn't seen. I was just taking like a blind buy, and I loved it. I thought it was great. But I haven't seen Heat in a long time, and I remember not liking Miami Vice, and I remember not liking Public Enemies.
we need to revisit somehow
Me too,
Miami Vice, because
That's what I was going to say.
I'm kind of in the same. Public Enemies isn't super great, but Collateral I like. I remember it getting a lot of like hate at the time that it came out. Maybe it's because like it was shot digitally, but it's got the same aesthetic, you know, like an assassin, and you know, like I don't know. I kind of like that idea. Have you ever seen Thief?
No,
with
I
James
haven't.
Caan?
So that's what I was about to say. Is like the movies I have seen, I need to revisit, and the movies I haven't seen, I hear are incredible. So it's like I'm sure there's something I'm just missing about Michael Mann to where I haven't really clicked with him since Heat.
Yeah, Insider too.
The Insider.
Yeah,
is
Insider's
good.
pretty great. Insider and Heat were my two like high points, but I didn't like Collateral, Miami Vice, any of those. But the thing is, like, I'm sure if I revisited them now, I would feel completely different. You know,
Collateral feels like a Mike movie. I haven't seen it in a long time either, but I don't mean that like to put you down.
What do
or
you
anything
mean
like that,
by
but it just
it?
feels like it just feels like
I'm just kidding. I don't care.
like an action type
Yeah,
movie.
no,
I
I
don't
get
know
it.
what it means.
Yeah,
exactly.
no, the thing is, like, if you look at everything listed on paper, it does seem like a movie that it'd be up my alley.
Yeah.
Did you ever read Heat 2?
No, I want to, though. But the thing is,
It's on the
I haven't
list
seen
for him
Heat
to
in so
make.
long that I feel like I need to watch that movie before I read the book.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Because I don't remember the names of
same
anybody
boat.
in Heat. I just remember Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, and Val Kilmer.
yeah, Val Kilmer,
Yeah.
and Natalie Portman as a very young girl. Heat 2, he might direct that. Adam Driver might be in Heat 2, so will be
Yeah,
that's
sounds
a big
rad.
question mark too. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be down for it. Although I think in the book Val Kilmer's character plays a very big role, so
Yeah.
that'd be interesting to see. What
I
they
would
do
like to
with
see
that.
who he recasts as Val Kilmer.
I think they'd have to recast
Yeah,
most
everybody.
people because the book takes place,
Otherwise, it's like an
years as opposed to,
Irishman
like,
situation.
30 years. Yeah. They
Yeah.
age everybody up. Anyways. All right. That's Ferrari. I'm excited about it. What's next?
Okay, so that's me.
Mike's
So
last
fifth
one.
movie, again, in no particular order. In fact, if I had to rank all of these movies, after having seen the recent trailer, I would rate this at the bottom of my most anticipated of the 5 movies. But,
I still haven't seen the trailer. But
I mean, it's not bad. But anyway, and I'm talking about Exorcist. Is it The Beginning?
Beginnings, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I think
can't
it's
remember.
Beginnings. That sounds right.
I'll look it up. You keep talking.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, but anyway, it's the
We'll find
reboot of The Exorcist by David Gordon Green, who recently did the Halloween movies. Ellen Bernstein returns as whatever character's name she was in the first Exorcist. And here's the thing.
The Believer.
What?
The Exorcist Believer.
Believer. Not,
Yeah.
I knew it was some B word.
There is The Beginning, but that came out in 2004.
Yeah, I think that was the recut Paul Schrader movie because he directed a movie called Exorcist Dominion, and it tested
Yeah.
poorly with audiences, so
You're
it was
right.
taken away from him and recut as Beginning, I believe. That's what it is.
Agreed. And probably like a little reshoot.
Yeah,
too.
maybe a little bit. But
But-
I've actually seen Exorcist The Beginning. I've never seen Exorcist Dominion, and I would like to because of Paul Schrader. But anyways, this has nothing to do with this. This is a sequel / reboot / kind of what they did with Halloween 2018 with The Exorcist, I assume,
Sequel to the first one. Yeah.
because of David Gordon Green. And
Mhm.
if you would have asked me after 2018, but before Halloween Kills came out, like somewhere between Halloween Reboot and Halloween Kills, I would have been over the moon about this. But I didn't really like Halloween Kills that much. And Halloween Ends was just something completely off the wall and crazy. So I don't super know how I feel about the idea of this new horror reboot, him going from one horror reboot to another. I think David Gordon Green's incredibly talented, but I don't know what this is going to be yet. It could go one of two ways. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I was more excited before the trailer, but then again, I know he probably doesn't have anything to do with marketing this movie.
Sure.
So, we'll see. but what do you guys think of David Gordon Green, his career, and the promises for an Exorcist reboot series after how the last Halloween one went?
It's interesting. This is the type of movie I usually find that I'm putting on my list because it's the like train wreck movie. You're like, I don't know what we're gonna get here, but it's gonna be interesting no matter what it is. Does that make sense? Like, and because I liked all of the Halloween movies, but that is unusual. I think most people like the first one, and then the second two. Actually, I didn't like the.
Yeah, I was
middle
about to say
one as
you
much,
like the second
but I
one
did
because that surprises me.
Yeah, I didn't really like the second one as much. I did like the
You
third
did.
one though.
I remember in the review.
In a weird way, but yes. So this one is going to be interesting. I don't know exactly what we're going to get, but I'm anticipating it because of that reason.
Sure.
Because I don't know what I'm going to get, and it could be great. And it could also be a train wreck, but I don't think it'll be uninteresting either way. Like Justin's always saying things like, like I'd rather see a movie that swings for the fences and misses than doesn't do, than like doesn't try anything. Like tries to bunt or something. But like, so I feel like that's where this movie fits for me. Is like it's going to be swinging for the fences. We'll see what happens. Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, that's kind of where my hope lies. It's like, somewhere in between the Halloween reboot, which just seemed like a really genuinely pretty great sequel to a classic movie, and kind of doing it right, and where other sequels had failed, and feeling like he really gets the original movie,
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere between that and what he did with Halloween Ends, which was just nuts, as Mike said, was just crazy. So I'm hoping that the trailer is hiding a lot of the really wild stuff that he's doing. And
I also haven't seen the trailer, so
yeah.
Sorry,
and it's maybe less of like a reboot or like revisiting something very similar. Like I think there'll be some surprises, and that's what my anticipation hinges on.
Yeah, and I'm also
Agreed.
wondering, is there an audience for an exorcism horror movie these days, or have we grown beyond that?
The Pope's Exorcist that came out earlier this year did pretty well. If I
Yeah, and that movie
remember
looks
correctly.
stupid. So
Yeah, it just all I know, like the poster is like Russell Crowe driving
yeah,
on. A
I mean, it may
moped,
be good. I'm
in
not
the
judging the
preschool.
final movie.
Yeah.
Like it may be great. I don't know. I don't even know what the reviews or the
Yeah.
audience
Yeah.
reception are like on it. But based on the trailer I saw, it looked bad. It looked like a dumb movie.
I agree, but I also like to your point, Chris, is that I think it was Chris, that like there's an exorcism burnout for me that I've been experiencing since the early 2000s, where there's I don't know what you could do
Yeah.
other than like attach David Gordon Green to it to make it like an exorcism movie that piques my interest.
Yeah, what does this genre have left in it? After
Yeah.
The
They've done
Exorcism of
found
Emily
footage.
Rose, which I think is a pretty respectable movie. Maybe not that scary, but I think better than most exorcism movies. I mean, like in the 90s, we had Stigmata. We had the Paul Schrader one that wasn't well received, and then the recut of the Paul Schrader one that also wasn't well received.
Yeah.
It's like,
End of Days?
is this genre dead? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
I think
The
this movie's
Conjuring?
going to do. Yeah, yeah, because of like things like Insidious and Conjuring, and I think this movie will do really well as long as it's released in the proper way, as opposed to like day and date going straight to Paramount as well. Although I don't know if this is released by Paramount, but I think a movie like this could do
If
really,
they kept
really
the
well.
budget low enough, they could.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which
But
I
even
feel
even
they have
like
been doing.
something like The Conjuring that ended up being like actually pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, the first Conjuring I enjoyed.
I bet. Yeah, but prior to, I had no interest. The only reason I saw it is because I was visiting a friend for the weekend, and he was like, "I'm going to go see this movie," and I was like, "Well, I guess I'm not going to sit around here by myself."
Yeah.
Yeah, see you later.
It's the only reason I saw it, because just on Exorcism alone, I was out.
Yeah. So that
But,
was my
yeah.
fifth movie, Exorcist Believer.
Okay.
I think that wraps us up. Huh?
No, I have one more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Quit trying to cut me
Yeah.
off. Last time you wanted
We're
6.
done.
This time you
All
want
right.
me to
You
only
hate
have
letting
4.
Justin have the spotlight.
Yeah.
Well, he's got the last word on everything. All right, go ahead, Justin.
It's just the way we did it last time, and I
No,
copied
just
the
joking.
same show
We've
notes.
been
so I
doing
didn't
the
have to-
same
I had
order
to
the
do
whole
less.
episode.
Yeah. All right. So my last one is a film that I didn't know even existed or was happening until a trailer popped up. But that is Sofia Coppola's Priscilla, which is, I guess, her Priscilla Presley biopic. Which, outside of Sofia Coppola, I'm not very interested in. Already saw
It's like
Elvis,
Ferrari.
which is not obviously her movie, but I think I'm again always on board for Sofia Coppola from like just how much I love Lost in Translation and Somewhere, and what was the other movie that she did recently? The On the Rocks, was that what it's called?
Mhm.
With like Bill Murray
And somewhere. Yeah.
Mhm.
and
Rashida
Jones. Yeah, Somewhere's great. But I think she has this ability to, and I imagine it comes from her being a Coppola, but just like tapping into the, showing us like the privileged mindset in a way that's like somehow like interesting, if not relatable. So I always find her movies to be to have a point of view and to be showing me characters who I might otherwise think should be happy,
Yeah.
should have their dream life, you know. There's always just more to it than that, and
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never
Priscilla
thought about
Presley's-
that with her, but that's actually really insightful.
Thank you. But it kind of matches up with all of my favorite movies of her, right? Like even Marie Antoinette, I think fits that category.
This person from the
maybe not
outside
Virgin
looking in,
Suicides
you might
so much.
find irredeemable and like privileged and whatever, and they are. But also at the same time, it's like they're also lonely and feel things, you know. And it's like that's interesting. I've never put that common theme together until you kind of
it's
summarized
even
it.
On the Rocks. I think On the Rocks, Bill Murray is very wealthy, and Rashida Jones is the daughter of a very wealthy man, so like they're pretty privileged. You know, so how she finds the stories and it makes us it dives into those type of characters. I think Priscilla Presley is ripe for that, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Seems perfect.
Sure.
But have you guys seen the trailer? Do you guys have any thoughts on this one?
I have not seen the trailer, but I do know the casting, and I don't have any thoughts on anything except for the guy playing Elvis, Jacob
Elordi.
Elordi.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's the guy, the crazy guy from Euphoria.
Yeah.
And I don't get Elvis
Well-
vibes from him. He's too tall. He's too lanky, like in a handsome way, but he's too like long and lean.
Yeah.
But that doesn't super matter. I don't need the actor playing a person to look like that person to be happy. But I am skeptical with an eyebrow raised that she got the casting right. But again, Sofia Coppola, like you said, is like a filmmaker who is incredibly interesting. She always kind of spaces out her projects and finds things that she's really interested in. And I find that she usually sheds like humanity on people who I would otherwise not think about or give time of day to. So I'm incredibly interested in this. And I wonder how it could be different from what they did with Elvis. And like, it'd be interesting to see another side of it. But if I know Sofia Coppola, it won't really feel like a biopic the same way Elvis did, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of think of it, just more, I mean, for sure it'll be slower, slower paced and less hyper than a Baz Luhrmann movie. But but
Couldn't get much more
I
hyper
mean,
than
you
that,
can't
I
get
don't
much more sporadic and crazy than the pacing of a Baz Luhrmann movie.
yeah. But I think it like maybe a bit like something like Jackie, which I never saw, but just based on like trailers and like those vibes. Or what's the Kristen Stewart movie, the Princess Diana? Spencer. 2 movies I've never seen, but just the vibes all feel the same to me.
Sure.
So I may be way off, and I'm the first to say that.
I wonder, first of all, how dare Sofia Coppola make an Elvis movie biopic and not cast Riley Keough in this?
Might be too on the nose.
Sure, Riley Keough. Yeah, it'd be a little on the nose. But yeah, I think I feel the same way about this as I do Ferrari. I'm not super interested in the subject matter, but everything you said is a compelling argument, as to why I should be interested, not in the subject matter, but in the themes of the director and the themes, that she brings to life on these things. So, while I wasn't interested, I'm more interested in it now than I was 5 minutes ago before you started talking about it.
Same.
Huzzah! That's the goal, isn't it? I don't know. There is no goal. Next goal wins. That's all I have to say. Okay. That wraps us up, though. Does anybody have anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I don't.
I think I'm good.
Okay. Cool. Well, then that does it for this episode. Thank you, listeners, so much for listening. And of course, as always, thanks Jake Wagner-Russell for doing our intro and outro music. If you want to hear more of his music, you can do so at soundcloud.com/bopscotch.
All right, so stay tuned to this channel, like, subscribe, all of that, because our next episode will be the best of 2023 so far. And I know what you're thinking. Why August? That's like
What a weird time to do
weirdly
this.
past halfway through the year. But you know what? It took that long for a lot of interesting movies to come out, and there are plenty of more interesting movies, as you heard, to go through the rest of 2023. So that's why.
And I still haven't seen Oppenheimer, guys. So, obviously, I missed out on something. So it's all about my schedule,
Yeah,
really.
we're all revolving around Chris right now. It's his fault.
Chris is the sun at the center of the Casual Cinecast universe. The
We're all
CCU,
orbiting
as
him.
it were.
The CCU.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for listening to the CCU, guys. We really appreciate it. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.